Hey there riders, MotoJourno Chris here today, and I was just reminded by Rohit this morning that I haven't actually, even though I've mentioned it, I haven't actually ever covered my own bike, which is the Daytona 675R. This is a 2013 model. This was one of the first of the new generation bikes. I had the opportunity that year in 2013 to test all the super sports basically, and also ride a 636 for most of the year. And when it came to replacing my bike in 2014, I went with the Daytona 675R. And there was a whole heap of reasons for that. Starting with, of course, the styling. I loved the triple cylinder engine. It was a bit different. The fact that the R had so many extra inclusions. It had Öhlins forks, it had Öhlins rear shock, it had proper Brembo brakes on it. It had some carbon fiber as well, which I've since added to. It had the quick shifter as standard. And of course it had the cool custom paint scheme. It was too good a deal for me to pass up. And I just loved this particular bike, and I still do to this day. I've ridden one of the new street triples, the street triple 765R. And as beautiful a bike as it was, I still couldn't bring myself to trade this in on one of the new ones. And being the older school triple cylinder, it's got a very different engine characteristic to the ride-by-wire systems on the other triples, which they're all beautiful machines, whether it's the MV Augusta, the MT-09, or the new Triumph, but it's just a very, very different feel, and I have to say I really like the old feel. It does mean that there's not the electronics packages. This has got ABS on it, and that's it. There's no traction control, there's no ride modes. I think it'll get to a point where I'm happy enough to say, well, I think the new model's improved enough. Maybe the Daytona 765 will provide something which I go, yep, I do want to trade the old Daytona in for. But as yet, nothing has really moved me enough to want to replace this particular bike. Keeping in mind that half of that reason is because all the really expensive bikes are just way out of my reach. So I don't have to worry about wondering whether I should upgrade because I just can't afford them, which is a great constraint to have in some ways, because it really does bring your choices down to a more realistic level. There's plenty of bikes I wouldn't mind having in the garage if money wasn't an issue, but I'd have to win the lottery for that, so not really worth worrying about at this point. So my Daytona 675R, it has been through the wars, it hasn't been washed in quite a while. I've got some accessories fitted to it, like I've got Yamaha LED indicators on the front, I've got the Triumph frame armour, I've also got the Triumph engine protectors. You can actually see I've had a couple of incidences where people have damaged my bike. I had a lady pull out on me and damage the other side, I think it was. That all got repaired. I got some new engine cases, but you can see how the old engine case is totally discoloured and the newer ones are still looking in reasonable shape. Really do need to give this a good wash and clean everything up and give it a polish and give the plastics a bit of love. I've got the Arrow exhaust on it. They went on sale maybe sometime the end of last year, and they were really cheap. It was like 440 Australian bucks for the Arrow exhaust. I've got some pictures of the bike with the tailor-made racing exhaust on it, which is the coolest exhaust I've ever seen on a bike like this. But I took it off for a while and went back to stock when I had some problems with the electronics on the bike. Not the electronics, but just the bike was throwing some error codes. So I put it back to stock, and then I've gone to the Arrow exhaust for now. It's also got a power bronze screen on it, a power bronze rear guard. One of the things that really got me was I got so much crap thrown up at me with that tiny little carbon fiber rear guard it comes with, and I did replace that. And of course it's got a tail tidy, it's got a Ventura rack system, which I know what people are going to say. They're like, it's a sports bike, a rack looks ugly. Well, personally I think that's the nicest luggage solution that you can really get. And at the same time, I need the luggage because I'm often carrying a heap of camera gear or a laptop and stuff to work. And like I said, because I've commuted on this, I commuted on this for years through really terrible traffic in Sydney. It's just needing a new clutch now. It's 2019. I've got to say, this bike has delivered so kind of far outside of the expectations of a super sport machine that it's really impressive. So let's have a look at the bike. I'll just go over the details. So you've got Brembo calipers. They're up-spec calipers over the standard Nissans that came on these bikes. With the R model, you got those. You got the Olin forks as well, which are a Nix fork as far as I know. Has been a while since I've looked at the specs. I've got the armor on the bike there as well, which has proven itself time and time again. I've got a couple of stickers of the stuff I've put on. I've added my own carbon fiber. These are the RG tank protectors. I've also got these really crappy eBay panels as well. Considering I put these on in 2014, they're doing pretty well. But the Triumph carbon fiber, which was the fairing infill and the front guard, is a much higher quality carbon fiber. Hopefully you can see that there. And as you can see, I've got the SBS brake pads in at the moment, which are great. I've actually got these Yamaha indicators on because they're LED, they work really well. Been really happy with those. Got a power bronze screen on there as well, which is like a double bubble type screen. Adjustable lever on this side, which cost me a lot of money, and I can't remember the brand, so I chucked it on. I've got a quad lock there, which I really have been meaning to move to the Ninja 400 because I just don't use it. And of course you can see you've got the forks, which are properly adjustable. Now I've also got the Triumph comfort seat, as you can see here, and I've got a microphone stuck in under the pillion seat for the moment, just to see whether I can get a bit of exhaust note to add to the video. This is a Power Bronze fake carbon fiber guard, but at the time it was the biggest guard I could get, and riding in all weather it was really important for me to stop getting all that water splashing up my back essentially. You've got the Olin shock there, which is a really nice feature as well. Obviously you've got the cool swing arm design as well, asymmetric swing arm. You've got the quick shifter, which you can just see in there, which works exceptionally well, even at quite low RPM. As you can see, I'm actually missing a panel which goes in there and holds everything in place. I should cable tie that. Still, standard foot controls. I've always meant to get a set of proper rear sets, but I've never got round to it. And arguably one of my most used modifications on this bike, the Ventura rack, which has got the Evo 22 bag on it. It's like a sporty bag, as you can see here. It's pretty low profile. I did have to drill through the tailpiece to mount the L brackets for the Ventura system, but I was happy to do that, and the amount of use I've gotten out of that over the years has more than justified that small sacrifice. Of course, it's got the cool red subframe, as you can see here. I've got some red braided lines, which I replaced those standard J. Juan braided lines, which was a pretty big operation if I'm honest. Both the standard 675 and the R came with a rear Brembo caliper, and of course ABS if I haven't mentioned that. I'm running the Bridgestone S21 tyres at the moment. Really great all-round tyre. Ideal for me because I ride in all conditions. And then you've got the Arrow exhaust, which was the Triumph Arrow exhaust, which is homologated so you won't get in as much trouble. Well, I think technically it's road legal here in Australia. That's if you've got the X up connected up, which I did recently reconnect. I've also got a little billet reservoir there that I got from Triumph. I got that on discount. I haven't replaced the front one because the one I bought did not fit. And you've got like a Brembo master cylinder there, which is standard. And I think that's pretty much everything on the bike, if I'm honest. It's probably something I've forgotten because I've done a fair bit over the years. But this is my... I can't really say it's my everyday ride anymore because it's not, because I've been using the Ninja 400 most of the time because it's a bit cheaper to run. And I'm less likely to get in a bit of trouble riding that than I am on this, even though they're both capable of doing very similar levels of performance as to what I'm willing to do on the road. Anyway, that's all for me at the moment. This is MotoGeno Chris. Don't forget to sub. If you've got any questions, just let me know. I'm always looking for video ideas, so if there's something you'd like to hear about, I will do my best to research it and let you know. And I'll be back soon. Stay safe out there.